Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to do a quick little question and answer time if anybody is interested. And this is just a little bit to explain a little bit about the disease that I suffer from and why I am on permanent disability. And I thought I would hop on here and give everybody in YouTube land a little opportunity to learn a little bit about me personally, about the disease that I suffer from every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, and on and on and on. What I have is, it has been called many things throughout time. My doctor calls it RSD, which stands for reflex sympathetic dystrophy. A lot of doctors call it CRPS, which stands for chronic regional pain syndrome. Now, what it is a malfunction in your sympathetic nervous system. Mine, thank the Lord, is confined pretty much to my lower limbs, mostly my left leg, which is where it started in my left lower leg. So it's mostly in my left leg, some in my right, but it is a malfunction in the sympathetic nervous system, which is also the part of your nervous system that gives you your fight or flight mechanism. So it is very much affected by weather, stress, um, a lot of things. A lot of things affect it. Um, how does it feel to have RSD, you might ask? And I would say it feels like somebody took my leg, dipped it in gasoline, and set it on fire. And it just continues to burn day and night, night and day. And on top of that burning fire that's there all the time, I get sharp pains, shooting pains, aching pains. What basically the disorder does is it tells your brain that you have pain, and it's the mechanism to shut off that transfer of, when you touch something hot, whoo, your brain says, that's hot, don't touch it. My leg says to my brain every day, I hurt, I hurt, I hurt, I hurt. And my body does not have the mechanism to shut that signal off. There is no cure. I will have the rest of my life. There is no cure. Um, it is progressive. It will continue to get worse, and I will eventually probably end up in a wheelchair for the most part because it's difficult to get around. I do use a four-legged cane right now in public. Around the house, not so much, even though I really should, because that's where I've fallen the most is in my own home. I also have a rollator walker that I use so that I have the opportunity to sit down if I need it. And I do have a wheelchair that in large crowds I do use because it is so hard if people are running into me and people kind of make way a little bit for a wheelchair. And it is taxing, even with my rollator, to walk any length of time on my bad leg. So if we're going somewhere like to a street festival or something downtown, right? Pops the wheelchair in the trunk. That's my husband, right? If you aren't aware of that. He pops the wheelchair in the trunk and off we go, and he puts me in the wheelchair and pushes me on. We take it to the beach. We take the wheelchair to the beach down at Grand Haven. If anybody's familiar with Michigan, down at Grand Haven, there's a beautiful, beautiful boardwalk. And we park in town, and he pushes me down the boardwalk all the way out to the pier and all the way back to the car. Poor man. I am so lucky to have a wonderful man in my life with this disease because it's very difficult. It's difficult for me to do everyday things. It's difficult for me to do household chores. I can't vacuum. And that sounds really silly because you're mostly using your arms to vacuum. but I'm right-handed and my left leg is the worst. And if you think about how you do things, if you're right-handed, typically you're left-legged, if that makes sense. You would put your left leg out as you vacuum, and it is just too much for my leg. I can't do it. So he has to do all the vacuuming, and he does. God bless his soul. He is amazing. He will do stuff like that for me. He does the laundry. He does the majority of the house cleaning. I help keep the kitchen clean because I'm a little bit more OCD in the kitchen than he is. So I kind of clean after him without saying a whole lot. And I clean the bathrooms. Pretty good for a girl that stays home all day, but staying home all day isn't a vacation. I'm in pain. Some days way worse than others. Some day my pain is at a 9. I never say 10. I don't ever want to feel the worst pain imaginable, and that's what they tell you to rate your pain. 10 is the worst pain imaginable. I never want to feel that. Never. So the worst I ever say is 9. So my pain ranges from a 9 on a bad day to about a 4, 5 on a good day. A really good day is a 4 all day. That's a great day. I'm excited. Woo, I feel good. So, yeah, that's kind of what I live with every day. That burning, aching, stabbing pain doesn't go away. Everybody treatments for it. There are treatments, but there's no cure. I take a lot of medications, and I do have in my videos, I do have a video on medication safety, and I think that it's important for anybody who uses a lot of medication on a regular basis to watch that video and kind of follow the advice. I think it's pretty firm, solid advice after all the years that I've taken medication through talking to doctors and nurses and other people. I think it's I've compiled a pretty good method. Um, excuse me. Let's see. Other thing, treatments. I get 2 different kinds of spinal injections. I get a sympathetic nerve block, and then I also get what they call a ganglion cyst injection, which actually goes outside of the spinal column. It goes on the outside, right where the nerve leaves your spine. Let's see, if you were putting like your nerve pokes through your spinal cord to go down to your legs, they would put the injection right at the edge there so that it numbs that whole thing. And my whole leg is numb for a whole day. But they also put a steroid in there to calm that screaming pain for a period of time. And it seems to work for me to double up on those injections like that, to do the sympathetic nerve block and to do the ganglion root injection, but that doesn't mean it works for everybody. Everybody reacts differently to the treatment, to different medications. I know, for example, Neurontin and Lyrica are 2 medications used very commonly to treat RSD, CRPS, and they don't work for me. They don't do anything for me. I might as well take an M&M. I don't notice any difference. So, you have to kind of work with a doctor who is knowledgeable about the condition, and you work with them at great lengths to try, and try again to find a combination of physical treatment and medical treatment to help get through every day. I also do have, which is one of the things available to some people with this disease, is I have an implanted device in my spinal cord. It's called a spinal cord stimulator. It is They put a lead with contacts into your spinal cord, and the lead is then threaded down through to a battery, which is implanted into my right upper buttock region, which I have to recharge by putting a paddle over the batteries inside of me. I put the paddle over the top and have to leave it there for a period of time to recharge that battery in my skin, um, that sends an impulse down my leg to it, kind of like a vibration. It's like, oh, vibrate, vibrate, vibrate. I have to have mine on to work for me personally. I have to have mine on a cycling, so it'll vibrate, 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 vibrate for like 2 minutes, then it's off for a minute, on for 2 minutes, off for a minute, on for 2 minutes, off for a minute. That's what works the best for me. Doesn't necessarily mean it works the best for anybody else, but for me, that's what works. It There's newer systems, better systems. I had got my original spinal cord stimulator in 1999 when the batteries weren't rechargeable, and I burned the first battery out in a year. They were supposed to last 5 to 10 years. I burnt my first battery out in a year and had to have a replacement. Now, thank goodness they're rechargeable, so now they really do last 10 years because you just charge it once a week. Um, and that is to help that vibration in your leg or in your limb that they're treating. The vibration is to help interfere with that pain signal coming back to the brain. The vibration's going down, the pain signals are going back, and they kind of cancel each other out a little bit. So it helps to take the edge off. Sometimes I think to myself, thing is just not working for me anymore, but then I shut it off for a period of time, even like 10 minutes, and immediately I notice. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I remember now why I did this. It works. It does work. It does help. So that's my current treatment with RSD and a little bit about what it is. And if you have any questions, why don't you leave them down below in the comments? And I will do my best to answer them, or I will talk to somebody who knows the correct answer, like the nurses at my pain clinic. They're pretty good. But I'll get you an answer. And so leave the questions down below. I'll answer them to the best of my ability or find an answer for you. And if you get the opportunity to watch my videos and you like my content, if you would please give me a thumbs up and maybe a subscribe and ring the bell, that would be pretty darn awesome. Because I would really like to talk to somebody when I go live instead of sitting here talking to the computer. But that's okay. You can find me on the DDT show on Monday mornings at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on Norgus R's YouTube channel. That's a collaboration chit chat coffee talk with Norgus, aka Darlene, and NASCAR Man 3345, aka Derek, and myself. And we get on and we have coffee and we chit chat about the world, about everything, about ourselves. It's no holds barred, family rated. How do you like that for a way to put it? But it's a great show. We have a great time every Monday morning. We just laugh and have a good time. And I'm telling you, it starts my week out great. So even if you only get a chance to listen, pop in sometime and give it a listen because we have a pretty darn good time. But that's all I can say for now. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Nan out.